Hello ladies! Oh, I'm excited to be shooting another video. So this is a beginner's guide to how many cloth pads a person might need or what kind of stash size you might need. Anyway, before I get to that, I was looking at my videos. So if you've been following my channel for the last couple of weeks, I have put videos up and taking them down. I've really been looking at, my own videos and seeing how I've arranged the content, and I'm not really happy with how organized it's coming across, because if this is a beginner's guide, it needs to be organized and to the point as well. Anyway, I'm going to redo the videos that I did before, so I'm going to upload 2 today, and then I'll make sure that I'm back on within a week with the next video in the series. Anyway, could you please like, comment and subscribe? It really helps when I get feedback with what you guys want me to make videos of, because it gives me direction. So I really would love to hear from you. Okay, so before anyone can answer how many cloth pads you need, the very first question that you need to answer is, what is your flow like? The problem with this question is that everybody considers their flow heavy. Everybody, and I mean everybody considers their flow heavy. And this is understandable, because this is a comparison between normal and normal. A woman A will decide, well, I'm heavy because this day I'm way heavier than my light days. But that's now woman to woman. It's different. What defines your light day versus my light day, or versus another woman's light day? They're going to be vastly different. So in general, going with what I've been reading in the groups, most people like 10-inch heavies and 12-inch nighttime pads. When I was watching videos on YouTube myself before I bought cloth, I found most people's collections were 10 inches, 11 maybe, 12 max. So I would like to first give a definition of what I consider to be heavy. What is my definition of what heavy is? And for demonstration purposes, this is a 10-inch heavy that I have obtained from my daughter, and this is the smallest pad I can wear on my heavy day, which is the 15-inch super heavy. Now, bear in mind, you cannot obviously leak the entire length and breadth of your pad. It's not possible. You need to be within the confines and with room to spare, mind you. So I'm usually from here to about here, maybe here sometimes. And then I have runoffs and sprays, which need the extra flap. So really the last cycle I was right to the line on this pad. So it really is the absolute smallest that I can wear. Now, if I put this on top of the other pad, just so you can get a good feel of the difference. And they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Really, these are 2 very different cycles. They're vastly different, actually. Okay, so I'd also like to talk about a difference between, let's say, a nighttime pad. So my nighttime pad would be here. Let's fit it in the shot. Okay. And the 12-inch, which I've again borrowed from my daughter, is here. Let's get that to lie down. Okay. It's a huge difference. If you can sleep in this blue pad and you wake up in the morning and you haven't leaked and you're good to go, I can't even imagine your world. It's amazing. At the same time, you cannot possibly imagine my world, which is also amazing. So anyway, this is my nighttime heavy pad. I do usually ask the pad makers to stuff a little bit more stuffing, extra core for me in the wet area as well, so that I get a little bit more absorbency so I can sleep through the night. Okay, so given that these are my definitions of what a heavy bleeder versus a moderate bleeder is, I'd just like to say that it will change how much you need. And I'm going by what you need, not what you're buying, because you are affected by, or should I say, you're infected with the bug of buying these beauties. Okay, so if you are not infected with the bug and you're going with need, then you need around 15 to 20 pads total. If you're a heavy bleeder, according to my definition of what a heavy bleeder is, you need 35 to 40 pads. Having said that, I did manage with 30 last year, 2018. I think I managed with even less. I think I had like 28. Anyway, I managed with less, but I found the wash routine very rigid and scheduled because they had to be washed on time so that they would be dry on time to reuse. I mean, I had pads that were being used 3 times in the same cycle. A third of my collection was used 3 times for the cycle. Most of it was used twice. So this year I'm going to get more pads so that it's just not so tight. Oh my God. Anyway, if you do catch the bug, it's so irritating how I can suddenly no longer pronounce my words properly on the videos. I swear I can say these words normally. Anyway, so you end up buying these pads not just because of need, but out of, I don't even want to call it addiction, because it's an unjust thing really to call it that, because the reason why there's an addiction is because buying pads is extremely self-satisfying. There are very few purchases that you will make in life that feel quite as satisfying or that will give you such wonderful endorphins. And on more than one occasion, because there's the moment when you make the purchase, then there's the moment when they're made, and sometimes even just speaking to the pad maker and, the whole buying experience. You talk to the pad maker, maybe she asks you, what's your period like? And you say, well, it's X. And I tipped the stand as usual. And you'll say, well, I need X added to my pad because I have X problem. So it's very personal service. Anyway, so you feel satisfied at the point of purchase. You feel satisfied during the customer service part of it. You feel extremely exhilarated when the pads arrive and they're brand new. And you feel another jolt of pleasure when you actually get to use the pads. And I actually enjoy washing them outside my period. So, hey, that's a 4th one for me. Anyway, I don't think there is a purchase that will give you that many jolts, in the one buy, in the one transaction. And also there's the community feeling, because cloth buying seems to be done collectively, because if you're in a cloth pad group and you're buying cloth pads, sometimes the pad makers do group orders, and so all of you get a piece of the same fabric, the same pad fabric, and different shapes that you all chose, and the different sizes and the different absorbencies. So it doesn't feel like a lone purchase. It kind of feels like, hey, we're all sisters, we're all buying some pads. So it adds that feeling of we are doing not I am doing, which is very comforting. And then the other thing is, it makes one feel as though they are taking the very best care of themselves. And it makes being a girl just feel amazing. It makes being a girl wonderful. It also brings sisterhood amongst women, void of creed or colour. Because I have really spoken to some people who I really wouldn't have crossed paths with, really, in real life. So that's amazing. And for those people who have started using cloth with their mom or with their sibling or with their daughter, it just creates this bond. And there's also an increased sense of awareness. So it just creates a sense of freedom. And if you're a heavy bleeder, this makes you feel protected. Gives you security from those dreaded leaks that were forever haunting you. It's over. Game up. Enjoy the security. Right, so I read this story once on a woman from the groups, and it's a freaky story, so I'm sorry if it freaks anybody out. But anyway, so there was this lady whose mother had passed away, bless her soul. And her mum had left her stash of cloth pads. And so she wanted to, she took the pads, her mum's old pads, and she was using them. And, she commented on the group and she said, hey, I'm really finding it very comforting using my mum's old cloth pads. It kind of helps me with the grief, makes me feel like we're still together kind of thing. I don't remember anybody answering her, only because, it was really way out there. However, I read it and I thought, well, this is interesting. There's a dynamic I never thought of. She was talking about, she's really enjoying sleeping in her mum's pads, especially at night, because, she feels really comforted. Anyway, the point is, it deepens the bond. That's my point. And sorry about the freaky story. And whoever that woman was that wrote that story, thank you. I did enjoy your story. Anyway, I hope this helps anybody who needs to decide how much they need to buy and what they can expect. And also, I hope, me explaining the feeling or the elation that comes with buying cloth pads. I hope it kind of explains why somebody who is a light bleeder might own 80 to 100 pads when they don't need them. And why that keeps happening to so many women. I hope I don't become one of them, because I happen to need my 80 pads. But, you never know. You just never know.